Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Theoretically speaking, what will the price of XRP be this market cycle and maybe even next market cycle? Will it be $10, $30, $50, $100 or more? Interesting food for thought, and what got me thinking along these lines specifically, there are a handful of articles in the world of crypto that I came across that I want to share with you in this video. And some notable people within the crypto industry think that we're going to be seeing much greater adoption much sooner than you may be thinking here. So, in fact, I'll even share with you the intro here, a few of the articles I'm going to be highlighting, including this one from the Daily Hodl. $1 trillion to flow into crypto starting in April, says Mike Novogratz. Yes, this April 2021. And not that it would all plop down in 1 month, but the beginning of it. And there's a reason like where this money is coming from, which I'll be sharing with you. There is this from the Daily Hodl. On-chain analyst Willy Woo predicts 1 billion people to adopt Bitcoin. Well, considering there's about, 7.8 billion humans on the planet right now, that would be roughly 1/8 of all humans on the planet. So it's not that the idea of 1 billion people or more holding Bitcoin and crypto sounds wacky to me. I could totally see that happening at some point in the future, but the timeline cited within this is interesting, and Willy Woo, he's got quite the following. Like hundreds of thousands of people are following this individual, and he's a very popular, crypto famous, I would say, chart analyst. And then there was this from the Cointelegraph. 1 Bitcoin will be worth a Lambo by 2022 and a Bugatti by 2023, says the CEO of cryptocurrency exchange Kraken. Yes, but the big question is, what will a moon Lambo be worth during those years? That's what inquiring minds want to know. Now, I do want to be clear before we go further that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast. There's nothing special about me. I enjoy making YouTube videos as a hobby on topics of XRP and Ripple and crypto, but that is indeed all that it is. Now, as I record this, XRP is at 56.3 cents, Bitcoin at $58,868, market cap for the asset class 1.85 trillion, Bitcoin dominance continuing to slide downwards, 59.21%. And I haven't mentioned this the last couple of days. I think you're going to see Bitcoin dominance substantially lower, even if it goes up prior to what I'm suspecting will happen, which it may. Last market cycle, Bitcoin did get down to about 35%, and then it came back up, but that just meant that altcoins were surging. And so if we're expecting an alt season to happen, to me, it seems like an inevitability that you're going to be seeing that change. And so then there was a popular chart analyst named Ichimoku Scholar told his 18,000 followers on Twitter, actually posed a question more so. Why is everyone ignoring XRP? The high time frame chart is insane. And so this is a little bit of Moon Lambo wisdom I have acquired over the years. I think that this is true. You do what you will with this. But when it's common knowledge, when it's understood that a particular asset, whatever it is, whether it's a stock or a cryptocurrency, whatever it is, when it's accepted by the common folk that it has worked, it is here to stay, the opportunity is pretty well gone at that point. If everybody agrees, then the money's already in it, effectively. And so what's going to potentially be worth substantially more that there isn't sufficient focus on right now? And so here you go, a chart analyst highlighting something that I firmly believe to be true, which is that people are ignoring XRP, a lot of them are anyway, until you see a tremendously green candle. And this is exactly what happened during the last market cycle. The same type of nonsense and FUD and XRP's never going anywhere. Those types of comments, they're here again today. And they were here in December of 2017. And those people that said XRP's going nowhere, they were ridiculously wrong because XRP was about the best performer during the last market cycle. It increased from the bottom of the cycle to the top, something like 70 or 80,000%. It was just completely absurd. So all the people that thought it wasn't going anywhere, they were wrong. I'm seeing the same FUD again. Incredible Crypto saw that and retweeted it and wrote, "It's not, quote, cool, end quote, to like it yet. It will be, though, after we pump 1,000%. Exactly. And this is how humans react. They don't want it when it's cheap. They want it once it's been validated by other people, but once it's been validated by other people and it's worth substantially more, the opportunity's not so much there anymore. At least it won't be what it was. at a minimum. But the way these cycles work, if it works like last cycle, you're going to see a massive... My computer's trying to restart me. Thank you, Windows, for absolutely nothing. I tell you what, that really grinds my gears. If I could just say for a moment, when my computer tells me that I must restart it, or if in order to like say I want to restart my computer, it makes you do an update sometimes, but that can be time consuming. Like, what if I have stuff that I need to do, Bill Gates? Damn it. Really burns my biscuits. All right, back to the regularly scheduled crypto and XRP content now. What the hell was I saying? He's broken my flow. I'm getting perturbed. All right. Anyway, I think you guys got the cut of my jib here, though, right? So as far, I'm just trying to get to like really bring home the point that once you see the big parabolic move up, the opportunity is pretty well gone. And given that the market moves in tandem, and this is based on pure speculation, and almost nobody is factoring sufficiently fundamentals, what the hell is it? It's not going to matter. Like if you think it's the case that the price goes up and it has something to do with what Ripple or any other developer building on top of the XRP ledger is doing, it has almost nothing to do with that. It's just people FOMOing in, and then people will inevitably panic sell. And then there was this tweet from Mr. Q Moon, who tags me along with another number of others. And so thank you very much, Mr. Q Moon, for tagging me, because this tweet here it fits perfectly with the content of this particular Moon Lambo hot jam. And so Mr. Q Moon wrote the following. What if XRP hits $25 to $30 per coin this market cycle? What do you think will happen to Bitcoin? Yes, Bitcoin will be flipped. And what will happen to crypto market then? And so he's talking about if XRP went up to $25 to $30 right now, he's saying the market cap for XRP would be bigger than Bitcoin. And this is a very fun topic of conversation. And so, I appreciate you tagging me. I do have a little bit of a different opinion than yours, but I love diversity of thought. So if anybody thinks I'm wrong with this, perfectly fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'll say this. So at $30, the market cap for the asset class, at least the way it's calculated in crypto, which I don't like, but the way it's calculated in crypto is you take the circulating supply times whatever the current market rate is. So right now there's about 45 billion XRP circulating. And so if you multiply that times 30, you get, it's like $1.35 trillion, which is greater than the market cap of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at a little under 1.1 trillion as I record this. So you're right, it would be much bigger. However, if XRP hits that price, which many analysts are saying will happen, in fact, Credible Crypto says that, Love Crypto says that, DIY Investing says that, they all have that roughly that same range, 20 to 30, 25 to 30, whatever. That's where they expect it to go. It could happen. I don't know. I hope it happens. I would love that because XRP is my biggest holding, frankly. But that would mean that Bitcoin ran up substantially higher. I don't think that any cryptocurrency is going to flip Bitcoin this market cycle. It could happen at some point in the future, but clearly Bitcoin's the leader, and it seems very obvious to me that we're seeing the same type of human behavior we saw last market cycle, which is money flows into Bitcoin, then it goes into large cap coins, then mid cap, then small cap, rinse and repeat. But as a result of the way that humans are behaving, and just evidence from past market cycles, I don't believe for a moment you're going to see XRP or any crypto supplant Bitcoin this market cycle in terms of market cap. I'd love to be wrong about that. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I don't think that's going to happen, but we don't need it to for XRP to be worth a freaking fortune compared to what it's worth right now. So functionally, it's not going to terribly matter. But the idea of XRP at over a $1 trillion market cap is not nuts to me in the least. Will it happen this market cycle? I don't know. If it does, I won't be surprised, frankly, either way. But see, a lot of this, and this is what I want to get to, a big point I want to make in this video too, and I'm going to flesh it out as we continue to go through this video, but it's very reliant upon Bitcoin. So if for instance, my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer, is correct, and Bitcoin's going to have a cycle high of $70,000 to $80,000, well, I mean, is XRP really going to run to 30 under those circumstances? He doesn't think so. He thinks that XRP under those circumstances is more likely to run, $10 to $13, which he's been citing quite a bit on his channel. He did somewhat recently acknowledge, though, hey, if I'm wrong, and Bitcoin goes up to, say, it's whatever number he said, I can't remember, he said $200,000 or $300,000. If it really does go that route, as some are calling for. Well, that would be the type of situation where he even said that he'd be looking for XRP at more like $55. And so what he has publicly shared is that as far as he's treating his Bitcoin, it's going to be the same for his altcoins. Yeah, he's sold 65% of his Bitcoin. The rest he's holding in case it goes way, way, way higher, and then he said he'd sell it. And if it doesn't, he's going to ride it into the next bear market. And so he's going to treat the other altcoins that he's holding. He's publicly shared this. He said that if whether it's EOS or Dash or Zcash, you pick your altcoin. If those he has targets to get scale out 65% of his holdings. And then beyond that, he's going to hold the other 35%. And if Bitcoin takes off, the alts will probably take off in kind, you would think, to a much greater degree than what he's certainly expecting. And so he's acknowledging perhaps it could happen. He's just not counting on it. And then, yeah, you could see that type of activity. But if you're talking about like $55 XRP this market cycle, that's about the only way it's going to happen, he thinks. And to me, that doesn't sound wacky. I'd be surprised if it hit the $55 level if Bitcoin's only going to go to like $70,000 or $80,000. And even then, it would still have a greater market cap than XRP. So I personally don't think it's going to happen, but it's a very fun topic for conversation, and I'm sure everybody listening has all sorts of different opinions, and that's fine. That's what makes it fun to talk about this stuff, frankly. And let me say this too before I forget. As far as the idea of $100 XRP, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I've been saying for years that cryptocurrencies that end up having true staying power, it'll be based on utility. So for me, as long as XRP continues to genuinely be adopted and solve a problem, and if it gets adopted on a truly global scale and money keeps flowing into crypto, which I'm about to highlight the degree to which that may be happening in the coming years, if that happens, I could see a future where you have individual cryptocurrencies with multi-trillion-dollar market caps on their own. And that's not weird in the least to me. You've got a precious metal gold. I don't know what it's worth today, whether it's 8 or 9 or $10 trillion, whatever it is. That's many trillions of dollars. And that's why I'm saying, like, we're in the nascency of this asset class with a total market cap. What did I say here? $1.85 trillion for everything combined. And so if XRP is going to be a leader, it's such early days. If XRP looks expensive to you now at 56 cents, even knowing that it ran up to almost $4, like, if it's going to be globally adopted, if it is, this is going to look like nothing in terms of price. Like, people are going to wish they had this opportunity. And so that's the question mark, though. I don't believe for a second it's going to happen this market cycle, but I do believe in subsequent market cycles. I don't know if it'll happen the next time, but people will put a greater emphasis on the importance of actual utility. And the reason they're not right now, and the reason it's been just mostly, almost entirely speculation for 12 years to this point, more or less, it's because there aren't clear winners right now. Yes, XRP is being adopted. It's no longer a science experiment, but it's still very early on in terms of XRP being adopted, and almost no other cryptocurrency on the planet is actually doing anything, and there's over 8,000 coins. So it's going to take a while for market usage to take hold, and then as that becomes more obvious, people will place their money on cryptocurrencies that look like more certain bets. But at this point, it's a ton of speculation based on, this coin might be adopted for so and so. And so until we actually see real world adoption in a much greater scale, you're not going to see the market break up in terms of moving in tandem. The market does continue to move in tandem. It won't always, but that's what you've got to look for. So what I'm saying here is if XRP is going to be worth over $100 ever at some point in the future, I don't believe it will be this market cycle. I don't know that it would be the next one or the one after that. Maybe. We're just going to have to see. There's too many moving parts to know that for sure. But the type of money that would have to flow in to make those numbers possible could be happening during the next market cycle, potentially, which is a great segue into this. From the Daily Hodl, $1 trillion to flow into crypto starting in April, says Mike Novogratz, and he's the a billionaire founder of Galaxy Digital, and so he thinks that's what's going to be injected in the crypto sector. And the piece reads as follows. In a Reuters Digital Assets Week interview, Novogratz says that as traditional financial institutions begin to offer cryptocurrency products, baby boomers, or those currently between 55 and 75 years old, could start dabbling in the space. And so this is another thing that I've been mentioning from time to time on this channel. If you want some of the bigger money to come in, and especially from people that are heavily invested and like have lots of bucks, but they're really invested primarily in the legacy financial system and various other asset classes, whether it's precious metals or stocks or heavy in real estate, whatever it is, if you want them to diversify into crypto, Yeah, some of them they're already here. Some of them, but the floodgates, are they really open? I don't know. It's all subjective though. Like what constitutes the floodgates being open? If you want people to really jump in with ease, they need to be able to do it on platforms that they're familiar with. And for a lot of them, that will mean that they won't be custodying cryptocurrency themselves, and maybe they'll be investing in infrastructure and this and that. But here's a quote now from Mike Novogratz. It could be as much as $1 trillion comes over the next year from that giant group of wealth. The money will start coming in early next month. And then the piece continues. The former hedge fund manager says Bitcoin is especially enticing for people who are concerned about the consequences of the growing money supply. And here's another quote from him. If you're worried that the US is printing too many dollars, you're going to shift some of your savings into Bitcoin. And I did see an article recently, by the way, that something like, I believe it was 77% of people, at least in the United States, think that inflation regarding the United States dollar is a problem right now. And so the media narrative is there. The degree to which it's going to impact us in the short, mid, long term remains to be seen. But the narrative is there, and people are acting accordingly. At least some are. I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep money flowing in and keep this market cycle going much longer than what chart analysts would suspect based purely on technical analysis. Maybe. But I don't think we're going to be seeing hyperinflation anytime soon, and I hope I'm correct on that. Now, that one I really do hope I'm correct. But you keep debasing the United States dollars the way that the United States dollar, the way that the federal government is, it's an inevitability. How can it not? And maybe it lasts a lot longer given it's the global reserve than if it were some sort of other fiat currency somewhere else in the world, but it's still going to be a problem. It's still being debased. And so money's going to keep flowing in this direction. Now, Novogratz's prediction echoes that of digital asset titan Grayscale Investments, which foresees a massive generational transfer of wealth hitting the cryptocurrency market. While Novogratz sees baby boomers putting their money directly into the crypto markets, Grayscale predicts that when the younger generations inherit their wealth, large swaths of that money will inevitably end up being invested in cryptocurrency. And I've talked about that as well on this channel. Now, that's a story that I do buy. There's been enough surveys, and I think there's enough information and data out there to indicate that people of younger generations are looking at things differently than older generations. And so here's a quote to wrap up this story. Approximately $68.5 trillion in assets are expected to be handed down from baby boomers to Gen X and millennials in the next 25 years. And multiple studies show these younger generations are much more likely to invest in digital currencies. The math on that one isn't hard. And so, you know where this gets interesting? It's this idea of, like, I don't know if you people fully appreciate this. Like, so the headline here, $1 trillion to flow into crypto starting in April. Okay, let's say that $1 trillion were magically here. This $1 trillion is just rushing into the crypto market like mad. Well, the market cap of the asset class today is 1.85 trillion. So if 1 trillion came in, what would the total market cap be? If you added 1 trillion to that number and you said 2.85 trillion, you'd be wrong. That is not the case, because what happens is more money flows in. It makes that means that there's less available. Say it's just Bitcoin. There would be less available Bitcoin on exchanges. People would notice that. Volume attracts attention. On top of that, people would have to fight over what's left, and there would be all sorts of people that are obviously hodling, especially if it's over a shorter time frame. And so you get a scenario where the price just gets bumped up and bumped up and bumped up. So if actually $1 trillion were to flow into the space, even if it were over the span of a year, like 1 trillion actual dollars, well, it could have like a tenfold effect in terms of market cap. Because again, market cap does not indicate how much money flowed into the space. It does not. It's just an equation that states, at least in the world of crypto, what the circulating supply is multiplied by the current market rate. It does not tell you how much money flowed in. The amount of money that flowed into this asset class, which has a market cap today of 1.85 trillion, is a fraction of that. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen anyone try and calculate that recently, but it could be less than 10% of that. I mean, there's some point years ago I saw numbers, and I don't really remember what they were, but I'm sorry, I can't remember all the specifics, but they were trying to figure out how much money actually flowed into Bitcoin, and this may have been like December 2017, and it was estimated by one of the largest banks on the planet that it was probably less than 10%. I can't remember if they said 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%. It was something like that. And so that just speaks to the degree to which you get this multiplier effect, and people are bidding the price up. But it has nothing to do, or very little to do, rather, with how much money's actually flowing in. But that's what's exciting. That's also why when people think that, XRP can't go to so-and-so price because market cap, it means they don't understand market cap. It absolutely means they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then there's this piece from the Daily Hodl. On-chain analyst Willy Woo predicts 1 billion people to adopt Bitcoin. Prominent on-chain analyst Willy Woo is predicting that 1 billion people will have exposure to Bitcoin much sooner than we think. In a new interview on Real Vision Finance, Woo says that based on its current trajectory, Bitcoin is poised to get in the wallets of a huge part of the global population in 4 years. And here's a quote. Check this out. This thing has been growing for 11 years non-stop and doubling every 12 months. That puts us at 4%, then 8%, and so forth. We're currently on track for 1 billion people having exposure to Bitcoin as an asset class in the next 4 years. By 2025, 1/8 of the world population will have exposure to this monetary base. It's happening very, very quickly. So look, we'll see whether or not it happens within that time frame. The idea of 1 billion people being in Bitcoin and crypto, that's not nuts to me. Not at all. This is not going away. The genie is out of the bottle. If you're talking about 2025, well, that would be past this market cycle. And so if you're talking about that, if XRP is going to hang around, you're talking about 1 billion people on the planet in crypto, as long as XRP's still getting used, because I don't know when people will actually care more about fundamentals. I care about them. Maybe you do. But the question is, when will the masses care about the fundamentals? Well, by 2025, if XRP continues to be adopted and if people care about fundamentals at that point in time, your guess is as good as mine, but I think you'd be talking about some Looney Tunes XRP price compared to where it is now. And not just XRP, I think that'd be true for Bitcoin and any other crypto that's truly going to have staying power, or at least looks like it could at that point in time, as long as it's actually doing something and heading that direction. If people, again, are finally actually concerned about putting their money into a crypto that does something, right? Anyway, the analyst says Bitcoin is still in the early stages as far as adoption goes. However, he highlights that we're about to witness exponential growth in the coming years. And here's another quote. In terms of the internet era, like where we are right now, it's the equivalent of 1994 for the rollout of the internet. In the next 4 years, we're going to teleport into 2005 for the internet rollout equivalent, which if you think about that, 1994 was very slow, dial-up internet. Very few people used it, but it was growing quickly. In 2005, we had everybody on Facebook. The iPhone was just around the corner, and the internet was available to everybody on the planet if they needed it. The next 4 years is going to bring a lot of change to the financial system, and that's for sure. Well, that much I don't have anything to dispute with. I agree with that completely, actually. So we'll see what the timeline ultimately looks like for all of this. But if this is coming, that's why I'm telling you, like, if XRP continues to be adopted, and it's an if, I remain confident, but based on data available today, if it does, I'm not going to make a price prediction. I'm just saying if it ever ended up being over $100, that doesn't sound wacky to me. You'd have a multi-trillion-dollar market cap for XRP, which does not mean trillions of dollars flowed into it. That just means it's the current price times whatever the circulating supply is at the moment, and you'd have a multi-trillion-dollar XRP. Well, so that's not hard to believe. Bitcoin's over $1 trillion. Nowhere near $1 trillion flowed into it. Not even close. And that's fine. That's not some sort of bad thing to recognize. That's just truth. Like, it's just a fact. And then there is this from Cointelegraph. 1 Bitcoin will be worth a Lambo by 2022 and a Bugatti by 2023. Now, this one I'm partly skeptical of. Like, I was kind of surprised to see this from the CEO of Kraken. Because a Bugatti, a new one, I looked it up before recording, a new one starts at like 1.7 million. And the cheapest one I could find online through just admittedly like a 3-minute search was a 2006 model that was worth $895,000. It was on DuPont Registry. So I'm just like, okay, by 2023, because even if you're talking about the low end, 895,000 for a used one in 2 years, I'd love that. I'm long Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin. I would very much like that. I'm not convinced, but here's what he said. Appearing on Bloomberg, Kraken CEO Jesse Powell explained why he believes dollar-based long-term price predictions for Bitcoin are flawed, emphasizing the inflationary nature of fiat currencies. Responding to a question asking Powell for end-of-year price predictions, Kraken CEO said, quote, "I think I said Bitcoin is going to infinity, and that's kind of hard to comprehend because I'm measuring it in terms of dollars." Yeah, and so, well, if you consider, I'll say this too, if you consider that there's going to be increasing inflation in the United States dollar, especially if there ever is hyperinflation, which if it happens, I don't think it would be anytime soon. That's just my personal perspective. But if that happens, well, then the purchasing power of it relative to anything decreases. So that would make Bitcoin or anything else worth substantially more relative to the United States dollar. So if you're talking about that, but in terms of today's purchasing power, if it's not going to move by much over the next 2 years, a bit skeptical. Anyway, offering alternative measures for valuing Bitcoin, Powell speculated the value of Bitcoin may increase from its current price, or 1 Bitcoin per Tesla Model 3, to 1 Bitcoin per Lambo by the end of the year, and to 1 Bitcoin per Bugatti by 2023. So we'll see. I'm not convinced it's going to happen in that time frame, but that's an interesting perspective, I guess. And again, look, not that it could never hit those levels, but damn, 2 freaking years. Because look, I'm expecting this would be my for fun guess. But in 2023, like, we're going to be in a bear market, I'm guessing, because how long do you think this market's going to go up? And if Mike Novogratz is right and you get this endless flow of money, and then I've dabbled with this idea, so I can't rule it out, admittedly, but if you have a crazy amount of money continue to flow in, well, maybe it prolongs the cycle. If there was a mad dash in humans, but that would be humans behaving differently than last market cycle. So that would have to happen. Even more money would have to flow in this way. And then sure, you can get a prolonged market cycle, but outside of something like that happen, I don't know. We'll be in a bear market in a couple years. So, and I'll still be here. Like, I'm not going away. But this is not some sort of fear, uncertainty, doubt thing. I'm sharing with you my recognition that market cycles exist. That's all that it is. And so I'm going to see that as an opportunity. I hope to make plenty of money reaching the top of this market cycle. I'll sell a bunch of my crypto, vast majority of it, hopefully. And then as it goes back down at some point after we see, whether it's a 80 or 90% decline or something somewhere thereabouts, I'll start scaling back in. And then what I invest, since I won't time the bottom perfectly, it'll go down in price, but I'll just keep buying. And as long as I'm in that range, I won't care. And then I'll start to see it come up in the years that follow. I'm a long-term guy, though. That's the way I look at it. So as far as where XRP's go in this market cycle, I hope blockchain backer is right and we hit at least $10. I'd even be happy with that, to be honest with you. $10 to $13 sounds great. If other analysts that I cited earlier are right and it goes $20 to $30, even better. I'm skeptical of it hitting that $50 or $100 price range. Very skeptical of that happening this market cycle, but I'm not saying that I think it's impossible. I'm just saying for how much money might be flowing in this cycle, I'm just not convinced it's likely. I'm willing to be persuaded. If you've got a good case to be made, I'll be open-minded on it. I'm just sharing with you my honest opinion, and I'd be pretty surprised. But we don't need it to go that high to have crazy wealth generated as XRP holders and other cryptos as well, not just XRP. I think there's going to be a lot of money flown in and crazy asymmetrical gains coming in just in general. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.